Here we go again, guys. It's episode 59. We're back after a little hiatus, and we got some good shit to tell you about tonight. A lot of topics. New York Comic-Con dropped. A lot of trailers actually came out, not only from the con, but recently. So we have a lot of news around that, a lot of our reactions to it. And we did a poll, a review poll. And the winner was DC Metal number 3. So we're going to be talking about that later tonight. Reviews, our thoughts on that. So you guys voted on it. We'll tell you about it. That's coming up later in the show. But first, what we always do is catch up. I know you guys know everybody else, so we just like to tell you what we've been doing for the week in our comic book lives, or whatever else we want to share. So we'll start with that, and we'll kick it off to Buckshot. How you been, man?
I've been doing all right. I got just working, doing my thing, and just kind of, you can hear it in my voice, a little cold I picked up. Just it's that time of year, weather's changing, things, happen. So, get the first cold out of the way, hopefully, build up good immunities and, it stays through for the rest of the winter. But other than that, just working, picking up books here and there and stuff, taking care of the baby. That's pretty much been my whole thing for the past 2 weeks that we've been doing. So, but I'm excited to get back into this just because, like you said, so many things dropped. For a break that we did take, it's such a great time. Honestly, you couldn't have planned that better. I don't know if you planned it on purpose, but to come back today is really just a huge deal.
It just happened to fall on this day, but absolutely, it's like it's like a perfect storm of things to talk about. So yeah, it's cool. All right, let's kick it off over to, I don't know, who do you want to do next? Exile, you're up.
Yo, what's up? What's going on?
Yo.
Yeah, man. I had a pretty good week comics wise, man. There was a $5 con here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Comic Convention.
Nice.
And it was a good time. A lot of cheap stuff. I didn't get to spend as much time as I wanted to there. But Iron Galactus in the comments, he made it up. He came, checked it out, got to meet him. That was cool.
Oh, nice.
Yep, he was able to find out. He had a solid list of stuff he was looking for, and he was able to find a few books, so that's cool.
Did you guys plan that ahead of time, or did you just happen to
No. He hit me. He asked me about it and asked if it was worth the drive because he had to drive up a little bit from middle Georgia.
Okay.
But I hopefully he enjoyed it. I think he did.
Nice.
Comments. But yeah, man, that's that was the big thing comics wise. Just again going to a comic only con where you kind of get to, I guess, price watch all the books that you have in your collection.
Yeah.
And you have amazement at just the insanity that New Mutants 98 continues to pull in.
Yeah. The locomotive, man. That thing won't stop.
It's gonna keep driving.
I don't think there was one there like raw for less than $300.
Wow.
I can't, because I looked at a couple because I wanted to see the condition versus the price to compare it to mine, but they were expensive, man. They were expensive. Holy crap! We saw a $15,000 deal go down.
Really?
It was insane. What was it? It was oh my gosh, I can't even remember what it was. There was a Fantastic Four #1 was a part of it. Was a low grade. There was a high grade 150 or Hulk 181.
Wow.
There was old Daredevil books from the 50s, not Marvel Daredevil, but that before Daredevil. I don't remember what that was. Those are old books from the 50s or 40s, and those were mid grade. Everything was slabbed. It came out to be $15 grand worth of books. Man, it was nuts.
Was it a retailer or a private buyer?
It was a guy who brought slabs and was trading slabs for slabs. It was all slabs.
So that's what you call a professional when it comes to that type of stuff. Go to a small con, I got some slabs to trade. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, there you go. Iron Galactus. It was a Fantastic Four 1, Fantastic Four 48, Hulk 181.
Wow. And he said that was a 9.0.
Yeah,
so
and that's insane for a Hulk 181. Insane.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, it was really cool. So that was my fun.
Nice. Sounds like it was a good time.
Yep.
All right, sweet. Edwin, you there? He's kind
Yeah.
of busy behind the scenes, but yeah.
No,
there he
I'm
goes.
here. I'm here. I'm
All
just
right.
I'm listening. Everything's going good. I had a getaway this past weekend, but it was kind of interesting because while I was back home, my mom happened to be there. So a couple of long boxes that I had from when I was a kid, I was able to get those. So that was kind of cool because you know how you always have your books at your parents' house, but you never were able to get to them.
Yeah.
Well, I was able to get to a couple of mine, so that was always nice. And then just staying busy, man, pressing as always. That's actually what I'm doing right now. I need to be mobile, so just pressing people's books and doing that whole ordeal. And then also, I got a couple of original art pages that I actually just purchased today, but I'm not going to say what they are. I'm going to wait until I get them. But you guys are going to know exactly what they are.
You're getting into the OA game, huh?
Well, stuff within my
That's
budget. Like I'm
pricey.
not buying. Yeah. Like I'm not buying no McFarlane pages or nothing like that. But I'm buying some really cool artwork because I think what a lot of people don't really realize is that there's a lot of really good artists that are out there, and their pages are affordable. Now, I'm not buying artwork to spec on. I'm buying stuff that I like, that I know I'll enjoy years down the road. And it's just purely for personal enjoyment. Not there are no spec purchases or nothing like that.
Nice. All right, cool. So I don't have a whole lot of news in terms of, collecting stuff. I went on a trip. That's why we were out or off air last week. So I had fun, family, got to hang out, relax, recharge my batteries. My mother lives up in, New England. So got to get to fly through Logan, see the old city after a while. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways, not much in terms of, I didn't have time to go like find some new shops or, I like to do that when I travel, but I didn't have time to do it this time. It's a fairly quick trip, but got my new books after 2 weeks, finally this week. So I have a lot of reading still to do. Yep. Caught up on some stuff. I did get that book. It was $4.20. So that's pretty much it in terms of collecting there. So not a whole lot there. So I guess we'll just jump right into the topics. I know that actually let me do some shout outs first, and then we're going to get into, and guys, think of a number. We're going to do domestic opening weekend box office numbers for Thor Ragnarok. Okay. Right. It just came on today for early tracking. And it's set right now. There's a couple different ones. One says 90 to 100. Another says 100 to 110 million. Oh, yeah. For debut. This will be the first weekend of November, like the 3rd to the 5th. So that will be, it's the 3rd. So it's, if you want to call it a trilogy. The first one opened at 65.7 million. Dark World, I think that was what the second one was called. It was 85.7 million. So this, as the third part of a trilogy, would just smash that, right? So that's
that is getting really good reviews.
Yeah, and the embargo lifts actually 2 weeks out, so we're going to be coming up very soon to that. I'm not quite sure, and that's the review embargo. Like they have a thing where they have like early people get to see it and they get to say just a couple things about it, but they don't get to do like their real in-depth reviews. And a lot of times when a studio isn't overly confident in the movie, they'll wait on that to like the last minute. But for this movie, it's opening 2 weeks prior to the release. So that tells me that they're like super confident in this. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Let me do my shout outs here. Amazing Murphinator just popped in. We get Splash Page Comics, Rag718. Jason Smith is here. He is always very liberal with his estimates. Big East Comics is here as well. I'm going to write down here as I see that. Actually, I'm going to start writing these down. Splash Page Comics is here as well. We have NES Master 80, Iron Galactus, Jack Yo. Philly Superman here as well. Yeah, we got a full house already. So I'm trying to do two things at once. That's not a good idea. And then leave your predictions down there. I'm going to start writing them down. And And if I missed you, are you sure about that 3 billion, Jason?
Well, he dropped it down to
no.
500 million,
Okay.
half a billion dollars.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's a big adjustment, but okay, we'll go with it. All right, Jackie O says 103 million.
Nobody's guessed what my number yet. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's interesting. This year has been abysmal for movies. Like even these franchises that are beloved. Like even what just came out, Blade Runner 2049.
Bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
But
everybody like who's seen it said it was amazing.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
But remember,
movies.
the first one bombed also.
True.
Back in the day, Blade Runner, the original, it bombed also.
Yeah, it didn't start doing well until it was kind of like a cult classic almost, right?
Yeah.
Probably on
Later
VHS or something.
It's one of those things where people are scared off by like high intelligence sci-fi, I think.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not, there's action in it, but it's a sci-fi thinking movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot more to it than, I mean, it's one of those movies that even the Rutger Hauer's character, who's a villain, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where he's such a profound character where it's just like you get into the emotions of him as well, and you kind of understand where he's coming from and why he thinks the way he thinks. So it's just like it's one of those movies that if you're hoping that he's gonna just go in there and just start shooting lasers and everything, you find out real quick that it's not that type of movie. I haven't seen Blade Runner 2049. I just think that when it comes down to it, it's been such a long time. And like you said, for a lot of the people, you have to be a real fan to want to go see it. Mm-hmm. And I think that because the last one came out in, what was it, 84, 85, somewhere in there. I mean, I don't know the exact time when it came. I know it was the 80s. It's just like, almost 30-year drought. What was it, 32-year drought, let's say? That's a long time. I mean, you have to hope that people are like really, really loyal to want to go back and see it.
Well, I mean, you're also trying, with that movie, they're trying to pull in, the old audience because Harrison Ford was in it. Then they're trying to pull in the newer audience, the younger audience.
Gosling.
But didn't pull either.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's what HBO is for. That's what all those,
I will also say, though, I didn't even know it was coming out this past weekend.
No, me neither.
I had no clue, so I wouldn't have even thought to go see it. So I kind of blame their promotion department.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you guys, did anybody see it?
No, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't even know until Monday people started talking about it.
I've seen a couple advertisements here and there, like print advertisements, really nothing on television, and really, I mean, that's what, like Justin was saying, it really just snuck up on everybody, and it's just like it can't do well if you don't promote it. I mean, that's just the way it goes. So, and they missed a good opportunity because this is that like middle period before you get to Thor and Justice League and all those other movies that are gonna round out the end of the year. Star Wars and all the rest of it. I mean, I know I don't want to jump too far ahead of everything else, but I'm just saying in general, like to put a little bit of money behind it and get people excited for those other movies. But you know what? I want a sci-fi movie right now. That would have been smart, but maybe they had budget constraints because of the budget for the movie itself. All the special effects and things. You never know.
Yeah, I've been hearing some talk from people who have seen it that this movie should absolutely be a contender in terms of the cinematography for an award. Like they're saying it's that good. Like, yeah.
Jackie said he saw it. He loved it.
Yeah, I really wanted to see it. I like the original.
Yep.
Talking about the cinematography, like the special effects was like so ahead of its time. Like I would argue that it still stands up to this day. Just I don't know if you guys have seen it recently, but it still stands up. Yeah, it's a long movie. They say it kind of like drags a couple of times, right? But overall, it's supposed to be like I haven't seen it, but it's supposed to be a really, really good movie. So. Just scheduling and stuff has prevented me from seeing it, but that's the only reason. It's not that I don't want to see it,
So Jay just said that the Thor Ragnarok social embargo was lifted on the 8th. So
right.
Okay.
For social, right? Yeah. So they've been talking about just kind of like initial reactions for it, and just like I love it. It's awesome.
Right.
Really colorful type of like really brief sort of quips about it.
Brief.
That's one thing. it's the brightest in terms of like the color palette, and also not everybody, but a lot of people have seen it have been thinking it's the funniest movie as well.
Oh wow!
So
I'm
yeah,
pumped.
I know my expectation. I hate to get my expectations up high, and I really am cognizant of not doing that because a lot of times you're let down. But for this movie, my expectations are up there just based on everything. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
But you know, it's been a tough year for movies. A lot of them, even like we were saying, like the franchises, and we used Blade Runner as an example, have not done well where they were expected to. Like Aliens flopped. All these franchises.
To back that one up though, Aliens was not good.
No, it wasn't.
Aliens, yeah. I mean, we talked about
just a flat out bad movie.
Yeah. With that.
Yeah, absolutely. The only movies that have done well this year have been the superhero movies, like Wonder Woman, Homecoming. I think that's it.
It did pretty well, right? Or it was just a big...
it did pretty well. That's more of a novel type of an adaptation.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But I guess that kind of fits. It's like a paper medium adaptation. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, all right. So, hit me with your predictions, guys. What do you got?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with. I think we'll do first. Oh, is it opening weekend? I think it'll do 115 million.
Opening weekend and domestic. Okay. 115.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. So that's my. Was it domestic after that? So.
No, that's it. That's your domestic.
Right. Yeah. I think 115 million is the way it'll go.
Okay. Justin. It's tough, right? There's so many variables.
Don't ask Justin. He's gonna say 2 billion.
Yeah, I said that earlier. Now I'm gonna go with a magical number. What's gonna happen? 137 million.
Oh,
137. Okay.
See what I did there? See what I did? Okay.
You did.
I think it'll. I mean, I think that's why there haven't really been anything to get people out to the theater. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there really hasn't been in the last like month or two. Not anybody that I know of is like, hey, I just saw this new movie. Nobody's talking about a movie they just went and saw.
Yeah, the only one was it. It was the last one from the summer. Like everything else has just been since the summertime.
Right. But with Thor, the promotion's been really well. I mean, of course, I'm watching it like crazy, but people I know that don't know anything are like, yeah, I heard like Thor and Hulk are doing something in the movie. I'm going to check that out. So I feel like the numbers could be bigger than expected based on stuff.
Okay. Because reasons. That's what.
Reasons.
All right. Edwin, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Couple things I was thinking about as you guys were laying out your predictions. I think the first thing that comes to mind is that there hasn't been any kind of superhero movie in the past, at least a couple months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's going to be kind of a thirst and a hunger once the movie comes out. But just like you guys were saying with the promotion, I mean, especially the soundtrack, man, everybody loved that soundtrack as soon as that first trailer dropped. I'm gonna just put myself out there and say 120 million opening weekend. I know it's pretty high with that Spider-Man Homecoming, but I really, you just can kind of feel the momentum, and you can just feel like this is probably bound to be the best Thor movie yet. So I think it's gonna get. I'll say 118 million.
118? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 118.
Cool.
Yeah, jump over me like that. Just a little bit. That's okay. That's okay.
It's in the price is right. I'm gonna go.
One the truth.
It has to be whole numbers, right? Like I can't do a half number.
You can't be doing fractions unless it had. Like if you want to do 0.5, go with that.
I had 122.5 in my head.
That's nothing wrong with that.
There you go.
Right, I'll do 122.5. All right.
Because if you're gonna put like 122.72, I'm like, no, that's too precise.
$122,387,463. All right, cool. I think that's everybody. We got, we got everybody. All right, cool. Great. So we'll come back to that afterwards, and that'll be good timing because right when we come back with the results, it'll be time to do Justice League. So,
Yep.
yeah. So, cool.
I got Justice League right now, 65 cents.
Oh no,
I'm
don't
joking,
do it. It's gonna
Justice League's gonna do big numbers too. We already know that.
Justice League, and I'm talking overall. Like once it kind of goes worldwide, and, we have a few weeks in the theaters, it's gonna be up near $1 billion, if not over. I'm telling you.
Just because of the title. The title alone, it may get there faster than any other movie,
Yeah.
It's the Justice League movie. Like, even if it's crap, people are going to go see it.
Yeah, of course.
That's right. All right. So, something that came out today, actually. Was it today? It was earlier today. It was right around noon. And I'm super excited to say this. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Well, this part of it anyway. Some movement on this. But, plus a bucket of pop. No, that is not. Well, that's probably $112 million and $6.95. Talking a flawed of this popcorn.
13.50.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting tomorrow a trailer or a teaser trailer for the new Mutants movie. Josh Boone dropped it on his Instagram, I think it was, account today. He said it's going to be out tomorrow, which is Friday the 13th. So super excited to get a little bit of, what that movie is going to feel like, that dark horror type of thing we've talked about a few times in the past. So yes. And I'm, you guys know I love Magic. So can't wait to see her on screen finally. Looking forward to that.
They're not going to put that in Inhumans TV show, are they?
No.
That'll be like on, I don't know. It'll be, yeah.
Fox versus ABC.
Exactly. Yeah. It'll be through Fox. They'll throw it online.
Wait, do y'all remember the character, like not the actresses and actors, but the actual character list?
I thought it was supposed to be like Magic.
I know what
Cannonball.
Yeah, all right, I'm pumped. Let's do it. I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I want to see.
I'm really excited for that.
We need Soul Sword.
Hell yeah! It's gonna be the whole Demon Bear story. That's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, it drops tonight at 3 Eastern time, 3 a.m.
Yes.
Pacific time, 12 a.m.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah, that's what it had the 1201 on it.
Yeah,
right on the picture there. Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Wow.
So who's staying up late?
Couple hours.
6 more hours. In 6 hours.
All right. We'll go live until. No, I'm just kidding. That'll be a long show. So that's cool. The other thing that I kind of skip ahead a little bit, I guess. Maybe I should wait. No, we'll just go right to it. So The Last Jedi, you guys, we talked about it before on the show a couple of weeks ago. We were saying, and I remember saying this on the show, that it's probably going to drop on the 9th during Monday Night Football. And it did.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I'm assuming you guys saw it. What were your initial reactions to the trailer?
It was awesome. I'm excited. I want to see all of it. I mean, there wasn't anything that deterred me and be like, oh, maybe it's not going to be as good. Like, I'm like that. That basically made me be like, okay, what day is December 15th? Like, how can I? It's just like I wanted to buy tickets at that moment when I saw what everything was, and just there's so many unanswered questions from it. Just what it basically went ahead and showed you more of what you wanted to see. Like, oh, like we have to actually see Snoke and all this other stuff. But then it just also blew open a whole bunch more questions. And what does this scene mean? What does that scene mean? What there's so many different things that it's just like what is actually going to be in this movie? Like what direction are we going in? Once this movie's all over and done with.
Right. And there's a lot of misdirection in it too. They even say this is not what you're expecting or something like that. And I think that kind of alludes to what they're teasing about with the actual trailer in the movie, right? They kind of make it look like only like Kylo and her are talking, you know what I mean? But I don't think they are. at all. Like I don't think.
That's what the director came out and said after the trailer was released. He's like, we didn't have anything to do with that trailer. You're gonna get the wrong idea from it.
Mm-hmm.
The trailers are done by a separate company. There's like a whole company that just gets footage and they put trailers together. So they're just putting things together to catch your attention, you know?
That's what they do. Yeah.
Right. It's all smoke and mirrors, everybody. It's smoke and mirrors. So
exactly.
what are we really going to get out of that movie? Who knows? It's going to be
right.
Yeah.
They made it look like he's going after his mom too on the ship, like he's going to destroy her ship. And but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
In that way, anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, it leaves. We get to see a lot more, but it leaves a lot of questions, you know, about the movie. And one thing I'm really curious about is, you know, Luke being afraid, right? If you remember, fear leads to anger, and anger leads to hate. You know what I mean? Like that's the way to the dark side. So him being like so afraid of this, like that's him not really being a Jedi. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like that's the first thing I thought too. Is like I wasn't afraid of this. Now I am. I'm like that ain't good. Like you're not qualified to teach her anything now. Like what have you done? You know, and it makes me wonder too. Like you know when you look into it, it's just like you know how far has he fallen from you know being a Jedi and everything. Like I mean, does he even? It really. The trailer itself and how they presented it, like you know, like I said earlier, and everything, it makes you have to go see it. So, in a way, where they're saying like, "Oh, it's going to mislead you," it's not going to tell you the right thing, but they've done the perfect thing, which is just like you have to actually go ahead and see this thing, and you want to. And really, I mean, there's nothing other than that. Like they just really put you in a position where it's just like you know, we're going to confuse the shit out of you, and you have to go and see this. You know, just to get clarification. Like if you're a Star Wars fan, there's no other way about it. Like you have to go see it. So, these trailer people are getting sneaky.
That's right. It's a good. There's actually we got to see Crate, right?
Yep.
That looked pretty cool. But we did not see. There's a place called Canto Bite, I think, and that's like a nice like casino type of world. We still haven't seen that. And that's where this guy DJ, forget the actor's name. Yeah. No, like that sound effect. What's his name? Benicio del Toro. There you go. We haven't really seen much of him at all, so I'm wondering what's happening with that character. So, looks great. I'm super excited for that. So.
Well, I think we're going to actually get more Luke in this one because the last one teased him a little bit, but I think in this trailer they definitely are giving the impression that he's going to play a bigger role in this film than the last one. Because I think that's what really disappointed a lot of people was they thought they were going to see Luke until you started to do your research and you saw that he was casted, but he was like one of the last names.
Right.
Do we think
like the last 10 seconds and he didn't say anything? It's like, no.
Yeah.
But do we think Luke's going to go out like Obi-Wan?
You know, I don't know because
I don't want
I
him
wonder
to
that.
Half. I want him to turn into a ghost, like just poof, like Obi-Wan. Like, he's just gone.
I've heard a couple of different theories about that. Like already just from the trailer, people are like, well, you know, if you look at it, you know, the way of that whole, like, basically, I guess you call it that whole dynasty of Jedis, starting with Yoda and Qui-Gon and everything, like they all kind of imparted that, you know, on their way. So he might already have that knowledge of what to do and how to, and in a way, like if he's been talking, I mean, if he's been alone this whole time, you can, I would assume he's gone back and talked to, you know, the older Jedis or something. And it's just like, maybe they're going to say like, look, in order to help Rey along, like this is part of your destiny. Like you have to go ahead and go through with this. You're going to be way more powerful as a ghost to help her along where she needs to go. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him as a, you know, just a ghost by the end of the trilogy. Definitely.
Yeah.
By the end of this movie though, maybe. It's hard to say though.
And who's going to lose their hand?
That's a good question.
Somebody's got to lose a hand.
Somebody has to.
I think Finn's going to lose his hand.
This is their version of Empire.
Yep.
Isn't that where he loses like one of them? I'm thinking it'll be Kylo. We'll lose a hand.
Anakin lost his hand. And
Luke lost his.
Right?
Anakin lost a few parts.
Well,
Anakin
but he
lost his hand in the second movie, the Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
And then Luke lost his and the Empire Strikes Back. So Kylo could lose his hand, and becoming more machine could end up leading him
More
to a
peely.
darker path.
Yeah,
Just
it'll be like
Just think
RoboCop.
about it.
With a
Kylo's reaching
lightsaber.
at his hand, and she just slices it off. That'd be awesome. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
You know who's gonna lose their hand? Captain Phasma. Phasma's gonna lose her hand. She's like, I'm useless. I don't have a trigger finger anymore.
Yeah. Actually, that scene where they showed Finn and Phasma fighting,
Yeah,
he has that like I don't know if I forget what it was called.
it's like a billy club almost.
Yeah, that thing that TR-8R had in
Yeah.
The Force Awakens.
Yep.
And he's fighting her with that. That looked like a pretty cool scene. So
Yeah.
it'll be cool to kind of actually see her do something in this movie.
I think that's their way of kind of making up for not making him a Jedi, just because, like, I remember, like, I mean, that first when you saw him with the lightsaber and everything on the poster, and then in the movie, it was just like, like I was excited. I was like, oh, he's gonna be a new Jedi, and this, like, I was hoping that they'd both be trained in how to use a lightsaber and become Jedis, but it seems more clear that, like, that he's gonna have nothing to do with the Force other than that little hint of what you saw in the first movie. And yeah, he might be a little bit adept at using a lightsaber because he managed to hit Kylo, but that's about all you're gonna get with that one. Like, he's not gonna go ahead and go through the training and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think this is going to happen, but my cousin read all 9, movies in or book versions or whatever, and I think according to the original novel, I think Luke goes the dark side.
Well,
But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go in a different direction. But
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, that's the original storyline.
well, that's the that's the original storyline based on the books that were made, way back whenever. But a lot of that Disney's kind of gone and just kind of swept away. They are keeping some things from that, but not everything. Like Luke, I don't think you'll see him turn to the dark. I think you're gonna see him kind of just fade away into the ghost. I think you're gonna see the death of Luke, absolutely, but I don't think that you're gonna see him, fall from grace, turn to the dark side, and then be redeemed again. Like, they're not gonna make him go through that Darth Vader, whole like arc all over again.
No, I think that they will do something where it's kind of that story, but to a lesser degree. So you have the Jedi, and then you have the Sith, and they're kind of like two polar opposites. But then you have the gray Jedi, which are kind of more in the middle. They're not quite light, not quite dark. They're a little like, the best of both worlds kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really?
And that's all told in the Journal of the Wills, which I think is what we saw, those books in the cave where the light was shining down. That whole mythology there, that whole backstory is told in the Journal of the Wills. If you don't know what that is, check it out. It's pretty cool. So it kind of feels to me like they're going towards more of a gray Jedi kind of a storyline here. So I think that maybe with Luke and maybe him talking about the fear is kind of a clue to that. But I think that he's maybe not going to be a Jedi, which again is kind of more like on one of the extremes of the spectrum. It'll be more, instead of him going to the dark side, more to like a gray Jedi sort of status, or like kind of tapping back into that original Jedi religion from like thousands of years ago. You know what I mean? So I kind of think that might be a way they're going. Who knows? But there's a lot of points there that make that line up nicely.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. I mean, maybe he will, I guess, fit to more of the balance, like you said, like gray Jedi, where it's just like, enough with light and dark. Like, we're just gonna kind of toe that line. It's just like, you have to learn to live within this here, because one way or the other, you can be. I mean, if you're completely on the light, you can be corrupted and destroyed, and you see the danger that's within that. And then on the other side, if you go just dark, I mean, you're an agent of evil. So if but if you can manage to balance it and kind of control, basically control the evil, but still maintain and do the right thing, then that's where you want to find yourself into. So I guess at that, it maybe makes a little bit more sense. It's like the Jedi has to end. It's just like, look, go down the narrow path. Don't do it this way. Just kind of stay within that, little line. I think I saw that you're smiling.
Well, I know Justin wants to move on because he's got a lot to cover, but one of the things I think we're missing is Carrie Fisher. How do they do away with Princess Leia? Because this is her last film, right? They didn't do any footage of her to go carry on into the last film, did they?
I don't think so. I think that she finished up her obligations she finished up everything for this movie and then unfortunately passed away before she could do anything with the following movie.
Yeah, so how are they gonna, close that character?
There's gonna have to be some type of death. Something's gonna have to happen with her.
Bring some tissues with you. You're gonna shed a tear.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Absolutely. It's gonna be kind of. It'll be. I don't know how I feel about seeing her on screen. You know what I mean? Because she's such a part of that world. Actually, I saw Rogue One on the day that I think it was the day or the weekend when we all found out that she had passed.
Yeah.
And I had avoided spoilers, so I didn't know about the end. So it was like having that like news of her dying like fresh in my mind and like suddenly like, seeing her on the screen, spoiler. It was pretty powerful moment, actually. I think that's one of those moments when you go to the movies, like you'll always remember like sitting there and kind of seeing that. I'm sure we all have those movies or those scenes where we remember it. That's one for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely different. I mean, it was definitely like, wow. She's like, I mean, as much as it sucks because it's just like you're seeing her. I think what made it more surreal is that the fact that you see her as CGI, like it's not her, and I think it was intended for it. It was never intended for her to go ahead and kind of stand in that role at all. So it's just like it does make it kind of sad, just to know that like the only time you'll see her on screen now, other than this movie, is gonna have to be CGI.
Right.
So.
They're in the chat here. We have some funny theories on what's gonna happen. So that's funny stuff there. So I think it was Jackie O who mentioned the Thrawn trilogy. So there was a book by Timothy Zahn. He wrote a novel about Thrawn. Really cool character from Star Wars Rebels, the show.
Yep.
Just announced actually at New York Comic-Con there's going to be a sequel to that novel. It's coming out in 2018. It's called Thrawn, or as of right now, it's called Thrawn Alliances. So I know some people in the community, I think Jeff Johnson was one who read it. Probably Silos. If you like that at all, look for that novel. You could probably pre-order it. It's probably on Amazon. They go pretty far out with the pre-order, so I bet it's up there. I haven't checked, but Thrawn's a cool character. So good story there.
Now, I'm curious because I don't know a lot about him. I know that he exists in those those 3 novels that follow the whole Return of the Jedi and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always curious if he was like, is he more or less just like a like a Grand Moff Tarkin type character, or does he kind of like have more of a role of being, another like not Dark Jedi, but another like like really like Force heavy individual?
No, he's just kind of like one of the rank and file. He started off as a general. He progressed up to Grand Admiral, but his kind of big thing was that he was one of the first like real aliens to be amongst the higher ranks of the Empire.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is he more ruthless or evil than?
Yeah, he's pretty badass character. Yeah, he's cool.
So he's one that you should be afraid of if you come across him, just like you're in trouble.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, he's a good fighter. Yeah, and Lord Topman just said it, but he's not Force sensitive, or he's not a Sith or anything.
Okay. I know he's blue. That's about it. So.
He's just really imposing, intelligent, Empire pawn. I don't know how else to put it. He just he's cool, but not like in like a lightsaber duel kind of cool way.
Yeah.
Just like a imposing, like, don't fuck with me or I'll destroy your life through the Empire.
Fun people to hang out with.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's move on here. We got a lot to talk about. Justice League trailer also dropped. So we'll talk about that. But one thing also kind of tacking on to this is that we finally got a poster with a Justice League poster that has the Green Lantern on it. So that's something that's been noticeably absent. He's obviously one of the Justice League. So there he is. But let's jump into the trailer there, and I'm sure you guys saw it. So what'd you think?
It definitely does a lot to get you excited for the movie. I feel like some things are kind of I feel like they've made Aquaman a little bit of comic relief here and there. The only really big issue I have is Cyborg still looks fake to me. That's just me. He still looks like just I don't know. He looks more or less like a video game character. He looks like he's not really there, and that always seems to like just kind of take me out when I see him on a scene. I'm like, you could have done a better job with his just kind of on-screen presence. But overall, though, I mean, like you said, it could be the worst movie in the world. It could be the greatest movie that's ever come out. People are gonna see it. I'm not gonna lie and be like, I'm gonna see it because I mean. I, along with everybody else, have wanted to see the Justice League collectively on film, for years now. So now that they can do it, I'm there. I'm gonna see it, and I'm hoping that my faith and that my I guess desire to see something like this is rewarded. That's all I can say about it.
How about you guys?
I'm pumped.
I'll go last.
Uh-oh.
Now go last.
We got a rant coming.
Just like Chris said, I'm just excited to finally see a Justice League movie. Now, the quality of what we're going to get, who knows? Yeah. But I'm excited to see it finally after all the years I've been alive and wanting to see a Justice League movie.
Right.
It's going to be, it's like when we saw the Avengers movie or, the first X-Men movie. You're like, they really did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's all I got on it. Each time they release a trailer, it feels like the reshoots have helped or something, and it looks, I don't know, somewhat better. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel the same way. Obviously, Zack Snyder did most of the movie, and then Whedon came in, and we talked about it. We all know about that. And even if it was he redid 40% of the movie, it's still 60%, the majority, Zack Snyder, right? You can really tell that. But I feel like this trailer compared to the last one really has a lot more Whedon in it. I just kind of feel like it's lighter. It still has those because the way Snyder does a film, it's very artistic and the frame shots are really amazing. It's it's a beautiful, visually, the way he does the movies. Yep. So those elements were still there. That's fine. But then you throw on top of that the lighter qualities of a Whedon movie. And it really worked for me well, much more than the last one did. So I'm a lot more excited now seeing this, 30%, thank you, than I was after seeing that last one. So yeah, that's my take on it.
All right, everyone, let us have it.
No, man. It's just I had to watch it because I hadn't watched it yet.
Okay. You were stalling. Okay.
So yeah, that's all it is. I just finished watching it. It looks really good. It's definitely the best trailer in my opinion yet. It looks like they have everything finished. I think they would have to be because I think it's going to open up in one or two other countries.
Oh, you muted yourself.
So sorry about that. I don't know. I got high hopes for it. I think that they probably learned their lesson a lot from Batman versus Superman, and I think it's going to be good, man. I'm not going to go in with high expectations, but I'm not going to go in with low expectations either. I'm going to go in with kind of in the middle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go. I don't know. It all depends on how you go about it. If you're like everyone, there's going to be people that are going to go in there and be like, this movie should have been this. But in the end of it, it's just I'm critical of a lot of the DC stuff that I've seen just because I feel like they could do a better job. Just with the amount of characters, with everything they have going on, I feel like there's a lot of things that they just don't take advantage of that they could, and those movies could be better. But I mean, with this, like I said, it's a different whole thing, and I think honestly, I think that getting to this point is huge, and then going past it, I think they can kind of figure out what they want to do with their properties going forward, because I think that this is the real big speed bump for them, and I think that getting past having the team movie, the big team movie, will get them to maybe take a different approach or a different direction, and maybe they'll feel a little bit more comfortable that they don't have to chase Marvel as much as they have been. Like maybe they'll be able to say, okay, look, now we're gonna do things this way, and maybe get to a more like manageable, I guess, expectation of what they want to put on film, and just kind of have things flow in their own way, rather than being like, we have to do what Marvel does because Marvel's making all this money, and we need to catch up to them. Just like just make your movies, put your own stamp on them and make them good.
Make your not only make your go ahead.
They definitely jumped the gun a little bit. I kind of agree with Chris, but here's what's really going through my mind. And Wonder Woman isn't but what, 4 or 5 months off the big screen, something like that, or since we saw it. I think a lot of people are going to want to see Wonder Woman again, because that movie did so well in the box office that people aren't going to really want to sit around and wait for 2 or 3 more years for them to do another one. So this is their opportunity to go and see her again before another one comes out in probably 2 years from now. So I think that she really helped the Justice League, because if Wonder Woman sucked, then man, that would have been kind of doom and gloom a little bit for this going into this Justice League film. So I think that Wonder Woman is kind of a shining light on this whole franchise right now, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. It really kind of set the tone, and when they saw the reaction to that movie, they had to kind of go back to the drawing board and
exactly.
And then one thing that I like, Whedon said this too, and it's seen in his movies. We're talking about like refocusing on the movies and what they want to do, but also focusing on the movie they're in right now. And that's something that Whedon does. He likes to tell with each movie a full story. It'll have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It won't have like that Snyder thing where it's like the huge cliffhanger. It doesn't feel like you saw the full movie because it just cuts off. So one of the things he redid was the ending. They're talking about some people he cut out and stuff, rumors. We talked about that in the past. But one thing that's not a rumor is that this movie will have an ending to it. So that tells me, starting here, once they saw Wonder Woman, going back to redo this, really kind of reset the way that they wanted to plan forward for the DC universe, and kind of tell, we've talked about this as well, but the individual movies, the anthology movies, like not having everything necessarily need to be so interconnected. I know Marvel's trained us that it's cool when that happens, but it doesn't have to be.
No, so, and Marvel also has they also set that up their own way. Like that's their trademark. Let them do that. Like DC, do your own thing, man. Just go out there. Like they have the characters, they have the stories, they have the history. That's all you need. Really, honestly and truly, that's all you need. I mean, even if you go back to the Dark Knight trilogy, there was really not much of a foreshadowing to the next one going forward. It was just I mean, they just give you a little hint of what was coming next. And those movies, I mean, and don't get, everybody likes to forget, Dark Knight and everything. Like, DC had a great running start. I mean, an unbelievable running start on Marvel, and they just kind of started putting out whatever. And that's what took them down. It's just like Marvel came through and was like, all right, we're going to have our own studio. We're going to do these movies the way we want to and all the rest. And, I really do hope that DC's kind of getting back to just making movies for themselves and not worrying about everything else. Because they can sell a movie. They can absolutely 100% sell a movie. That has no comparison. Like they do really well with that. It's just the quality of once they get the quality up, they'll be fine. They'll be completely fine.
Yeah.
So
here's hoping for that, right?
Yeah.
So that'll come out, like we said. Thor comes out, and then not long after that we get Justice League, and then not long after that we get Star Wars. So the next couple months are going to be super busy for us. So.
The march to Christmas is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's other cool movies coming out, but those are the three biggies, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I think actually too another comic book movie that is out right now that kind of got way overshadowed is Kingsman. Kingsman 2. It is a comic book movie. It just no one knows. I mean, not that no one knows. It's just not getting any sort of real big attention. I mean, but it's kind of a placeholder until because everybody knows that like you have 3 huge movies coming later on that are comic related that
Right.
everybody's gonna go see. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've told someone, "Oh, that's based on a graphic novel," and they're like, "What?
Right.
Really?"
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't know that was a comic book.
yeah, Walking Dead, perfect example. Really?
Yep.
Even though it says it on there, based on the and that is a perfect lead-in. Season 8 trailer dropped. I think it was New York Comic Con. We finally got to see it. A really cool scene with Carl. Did you guys see that?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
It's basically, and I don't remember where I read it, but the way they did it was like a shot for shot kind of retake of a episode or a scene from episode 1 with Rick, but in this they did it with Carl. So he's like walking around, he hears like a voice or somebody talking, he like looks under the car, he's got the hat on and stuff. He's got his gun with him. And then like right when it cuts off is when he pulls out the gun and he goes, "Freeze." And then it stops. So, it looked pretty neat.
Yeah.
Even though
I didn't really watch last season, so kind of falling off the Walking Dead a bit.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be all out war. This is the part where all of the different communities finally get together. That's what last season was, them kind of like rallying the troops and getting everybody together.
Right.
This season's going to be finally going after Negan. So it's going to be, if they follow the story, which, they usually do fairly well.
Is this they're going to be the Whisperers?
Presumably we'll see them this season. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they got to do something. I mean, that show, I think, following the whole Negan introduction, I mean, after that, it just didn't have anything solid and concrete to really go forward with, and it's just like they need something to boost it back up, just because it was for a while one of the best shows on television, and it's just one of those things where you don't want to go out on a sour note. So I'm glad to see that they're trying to do something to get people back into it. Just like Justin said, I haven't watched it in a couple of years, just because the fact is that it kind of lost its mojo, at least for me. It was just like, okay. So now, if they're going to go back, it's just like, great, I can go back on Netflix and binge what I missed, and then catch up again and make, okay, now I'm ready for these new episodes and excited to, watch it on a weekly basis again.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Philly Superman said additional Walking Dead news is that Andrea's death will be translated into the show.
Oh, nice.
But will be with another character.
Oh,
I'm like, wait, they already killed her.
Yeah. So who will it be? Dun dun dun. We'll have to find out. So that's pretty cool. Cool. All right. So I'll be looking forward to that. That's coming out. I don't remember when the actual season starts. I'm sure someone will chime in the chat. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. It's gonna be awesome.
It's soon because before Halloween, right? Isn't it this Sunday?
It's coming up really soon. I didn't want to say a date and misquote, but yeah, it's
soon. Where's Adam at? He's our research guy.
Adam's gone. He took off.
Yeah. Well, somebody will put it, I'm sure. Please tell us the release date for that while we move on to the next thing. Well, actually, talking about, in the next few days, Game of Thrones, the next season, is going to start filming. They said in the panel, they said within days was what they said. So that'll be cool. We're still really far out from that final season getting, to where we can see it. But it'll be cool to see the 22nd. Thanks, guys. All right. So Deadpoolica, Instagram, and Philly Superman say 22nd. So cool. So that puts us at, that's like a week, isn't it?
10 days from today.
This phone is weird. Sometimes my fingerprint works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know.
That means we got to get our auction done before it starts, guys.
Yeah,
that's right.
We can do it.
Oh, there we go. Okay, 22nd. So we're looking at a week. Yeah, the Sunday. So not okay. 2 Sundays from now. Whoops, sorry. 2 Sundays from now. So cool. All right. So the other thing we're going to talk about, one thing that we had predicted, or we had like, or I will speak for myself, I was kind of thinking that this would make sense. Originally with the Punisher, they were talking about November 14th as a release date. If you guys remember, we were talking about that coming out, and like that's a few days before Justice League. And then they redacted the date, and they were talking about having that come out much sooner. They were like kind of teasing it could drop like anytime, like, you know, just, you know, check your Netflix. You don't know when we're going to do it. Like, just throw it on there for you. So it'd be cool. New York Comic-Con panel talking about it. And then, like, you know, a week later, which would be tomorrow, Friday the 13th, the prediction was that the show would show up on the Netflix queue. Like, just it would be there. Perfect date for it. Friday the 13th, week after New York Comic-Con, right?
Yep.
So two things. Because of the tragedy in Las Vegas, the panel was pulled from the con, right? So that's, you know, it's sad. But also, you know, will that affect the initial prediction? Will they move it back a little bit more? The release of the show, the full season? I don't know. But we were talking here on the show about it being dropped tomorrow, the 13th. So
yeah,
I'll be checking.
Yeah, me too. I was like, what? Punisher, like, I can see them rolling it back. I mean, I didn't know that initially that was the reasoning why, is, you know, I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, you know, you want to kind of give a little bit more time and space for people to kind of, you know, let that, you know, just kind of not be so fresh in everybody's minds. But I mean, I'll be watching. I'll be looking to see when it does drop, because I mean, that trailer they had with you know, the Metallica in the background and everything, that was awesome. I mean, it's just like you can't take it away from me. I need to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Here's hoping. I'm sure we'll find out as soon as it gets on there. You'll hear about it.
Oh yeah,
be posting about it. So yeah, if not this week, you know, hopefully, I don't know when they would do it. Honestly, like, when would be the next? Because you don't want to do it whenever. Well, it's different companies, but you wouldn't want to do it the beginning of November, because everybody's going to be focused on. See, I don't know, because it's a show versus a movie. I don't know. There's so many variables. It's hard to predict, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's not tomorrow, then I don't know what to tell you guys.
It'll be Halloween.
Yeah, there you go. That could be too.
That works.
Yeah.
Although I think now you also run into the Netflix itself gonna have issues, because if they push it back, closer to Halloween, I want to say Stranger Things comes out right either on or right around Halloween. So
yeah,
Netflix is not going to cannibalize their own show just to put out a Marvel show. Like, you guys can wait.
Shit, I'll be watching those both.
Yeah,
they don't have to worry about that with me.
Oh, of course. Like, trust me, I'm
there goes that weekend.
I'm dying for, like, that would literally be like, all right, you know, this weekend we're not doing anything. I don't care what happens. Like, we're here.
Well, a lot of people burn through it anyways, so I don't think it would hurt any show, because you just watch it at your own leisure. But I just have a feeling it could be later versus sooner, because, you know, Halloween, you got a lot of things coming out around Halloween time. So I would have to say November's a good time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, you also, I mean, if you look at it, December, like after Christmas and stuff, wouldn't be bad either, because you have a lot of people, or just, you know, vacations and things like that. So, I mean, they got plenty of options to go ahead and put it out there. I mean, I'm sure we'll get more news leading up to what they're gonna do. So, you know, but for all of us wishful, knocking on wood right now, you know, the 13th seems to be a perfect day to drop it. I don't understand why you wouldn't, but it's all good.
Yeah, who knows? All right, cool. So let's jump into a little bit of Marvel Legacy. I know we've all been reading the books. We had some expectations and some things that maybe, well, we'll get into it. So a couple of things I wanted to point out. The sales pretty much are still flat for the books. They're not, like, you know, shooting up to the top 10. Like, if you look at the Comic-Con data, it's like they're not like, you know, a clean sweep with the top 10 type of thing. And then, of course, I'm sure you guys will mention it too, but the lenticular covers, I didn't get any. Like, there were a couple that looked really cool online. Like, I really wanted the the giant size X-Men one for Spirits of Vengeance and a
Yeah.
couple others. That looked really cool. But when you pick it up in the
it doesn't move.
You know, on the show, exactly. It's like blurry to a little not quite blurry of the original picture, and then blurry, and I'm like, yeah, it was really poorly done. Luckily, my shop had them. One shop had them for cover, still skipped them. Another shop, because with the regular cover, the cover A, the non-lenticular, that's where you have your Marvel value stamps. So a lot of people are going for those. So this other shop, if you bought that, then you could also get a lenticular. You couldn't just buy that by itself. But I went actually for the headshot covers instead. I thought those were really cool. I don't know if you guys saw those.
Really?
I did.
I got a few of those. Yeah.
I got just for the Spirits of Vengeance. I was with you on that one. I wanted to get the lenticular. I was all about it, and then when it wouldn't change over, I said forget it. So I just stuck with the regular cover. Yeah. My local shops. It's actually it's funny to look at, but so they try to sell the lenticulars for $1 more. So instead of being $3.99, they're $4.99.
Okay.
But they're gonna get stuck with them. I can see it. I mean, I look at it right now. There's like, you know, the regular covers. You know, there's a bunch of those, and then behind them is just a stack of lenticulars that, and I know they're not gonna move. Those are all destined for the dollar bin, and it sucks because I got extra money to get them.
It sucks because the shops had to go through all these hoops to get them, and then there's just no interest in them. Like, you know, people are going for all, like, if you look at, there's a couple of shops, I think it was on Bleeding Cool, they interview a couple of the shops for the week and say like, hey, what's your big sellers? It was all DC books and The Walking Dead.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So, but Marvel said that it was sold out at the diamond level, so that sounds pretty cool, but if you dig a little bit deeper into it, it's actually not really impressive at all. You know, like, sir, you make people jump through hoops. You say this book, you know, people ordered 30,000 copies.
Yeah.
So you print 30,000 copies, so it's sold out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is talk that some of these are going to be going to a second print down the road. So there's that. God. Yeah.
That sucks, because we talked about that. You know, like so. Last week when we didn't have a show, we were just talking about the books. All of us just online, you know, in our spare time, and like I had made a mention of that, and Jesse was, you know, seconded that. He's like, you know, these things came out, they're not looking good, and I said, wouldn't it be funny if Marvel makes an excuse of, oh, well, these are misprints, we need to go ahead and, you know, make a second printing of them to, you know, get them the way they should be. And, you know, it's just like, it's funny because I had a feeling they're going to say that to save face. And, you know, they haven't come out and said that specifically, but you're saying that now there's talk they may go to a second printing. Mm-hmm. No excuse as to like, oh, misprint nothing, just, oh, we'll second print them, nicer paper, this, and it's just like, you should have done it the first time. Exactly.
But that's something that is... it's a pattern with Marvel, and Philly Superman actually said it really nicely. Like, a difference between with DC doing their rebirth from New 52, they admitted that they screwed up, and they basically apologized to the fans and the readers, and they said, okay, this is what we're going to do to make things different. This is how we're going to kind of improve things going forward. And we're sorry. But with Marvel, it's like, nope, you guys are just attacking us. You guys are wrong. You guys hate diversity. Like, they don't understand how to realize that they're contributing to their missteps as well, right? So this plays right into that. They're not going to say, oh, I know, sorry guys, these covers suck, here's some new ones. They're just going to be like, hey, these sold out. That's going to be the thing. Not these suck, we're sorry, here's some new ones. These sold out, these are doing great, let's do another print. That's going to be their approach.
You know, it's funny too that you say that, just because, you know, I guess if you listen to them enough times and you just kind of, you know, don't think about it, you just kind of be like, okay, so, you know, they're saying this, or this is their excuse for it, or whatever it is. You do forget that they're not apologizing for anything. And you're right. I'm glad you brought that up and said that, you know, DC actually said, like, we made a mistake. Here's what we're going to do for you. You know, that is true. Marvel's completely unapologetic. And on top of that, I think the closest that they came to an apology, which it wasn't an apology, it was Secret Empire. That was just let the story play out before you make any judgments, please. And it was that whole defensive. You're attacking me, please. You know, don't come at me like that. Like, you know, give me a chance to tell my story before you say something. Well, you know, at this point, Marvel really is. You know, I wouldn't say they really. I mean, they've really crossed that threshold where it's just like, you know what was it going to take for you guys to at least say, you know what, we're sorry for messing this up, you know, not even that we'll take care of you. Just at this point, I think people just would like to hear that, you know, we made a mistake, we're sorry. Just an apology. And it is funny how they are that unapologetic about everything they're doing. I mean, it's not even just to us either. Like, I think the shop owners really they owe an apology for, because like I said, I know that all those books are going to the back, all the lentaculars that are there now are going to the dollar bin, and you know, you can see it in their faces, because there's one of the local shop owners that I talk to sometimes, he just like, I was like, you know, how are these doing? He's just like, I don't even want to talk about him, you know. Exactly, and he was pissed, and it's just like, you know, and he knows he had to go through, like you said, the hoops to get him, and they came out like crap. So they deserve an apology.
Well, I mentioned this through chatting with you guys before, that my LCS, they're not playing this game, so we didn't get any lenticulars, and I don't blame them, man, because Jesse was talking about the sales and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking about it, and you know they're going to be number one when Diamond releases those numbers, because you have to order more in order to get them.
Yeah,
it's gonna jump up the
numbers,
and it's gonna, you know, give the illusion that, oh, we did so well, we sold so many and whatnot.
Right.
But those are hollow numbers.
The only thing we ever get is the retailer level sales. We don't get the end user, us. Like,
right.
It's the shop sales and it's estimates. So sure, they sold out. They moved 50,000 units. They moved 100,000 units. But you know what? 50,000 of them are probably still sitting there on the shelves unpurchased. You know, like, that doesn't really reflect that final sale part of the process.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a lot of frustration, and there was actually at New York Comic-Con at the retailer panel, I'm sure you guys heard, there was a big, like, it broke down. They asked some questions about this, about you know, some of the diversity with the characters, and why do they replace the classic characters instead of making new ones, and they were going back and forth, and then they got into some like derogatory commentary and just really broke down from there. But it was really kind of telling that so many retailers at this panel, and actually they shut down the panel, and then they went outside into the hallway area, and they were still like swarming the Marvel people with complaints. So it was pretty wild to hear the stories about it, but it's really telling that there was that type of a response there at the panel, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's not a good look, I'll tell you that right now.
No. So yeah, there was a couple of things, you know, that didn't go well for Marvel at the con this year. So hopefully they'll do you know, something a little bit different here. Actually, the only kind of book that's really done well is the Legacy one shot. That sold really well. Yeah. That was where we were supposed to get all our promises and, you know, all that. So,
well, the sales figures aren't going to make sense on the Marvel books, because the lenticular covers and the regular covers are separate. They're not in the same order. So you're going to have sales numbers for two different things. That's Marvel shooting themselves in the foot, where they could have had one book, but no, they released both. So they've got split sales. So
that's right.
You're still not even going to see like a full picture of what they've done. It was a bad idea all the way around. They used extremely poor paper quality. I got one of the books just because the regular cover got shorted at my shop, just so I could have it to talk about it. But I mean, I was pretty just let down. Even my shop owner was like, he said he couldn't believe that they went that cheap on the paper stock, to the point of like people just picking the books up and putting them back on the shelf. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There were people like me that actually wanted. I was interested in a couple of them. You know, I thought they were pretty cool. But when I got there and actually saw them, like, no, no, not spending money on
I've been talking about this ever since they did that crap back in 2013. As soon as I first noticed it, like they started doing that in 2012, 2013. As soon as I started noticing it, I just started blasting Marvel every time I got their freaking magazine in my hand, because it just the cover was the same page quality as the interior.
Yep, the same paperweight.
That just doesn't make it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't hold the ink really well. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed. I've had to go switch out the books a couple times, because I would look at them. I have my stack in my hands, and then I would look at it, and I have like a thumbprint on the cover, and it's not even from pressing hard on it. But yeah, like
you're eating potato chips before.
Who is?
You were eating potato chips before, and you got
Oh yeah,
Yeah, grease
I
in
didn't
your
hear that. I thought you meant right now. Yeah, no, I wasn't eating anything, but I still got the thumbprint on the book, the cover. And shout out to Dark Avenger C86. He is very outspoken about that. He's over on Comic Frontline. Shout out to the channel there. Yeah, he hates that as well. The really cheap, the paperweight is like the same as the interior pages. It has no, especially for the price, like absolutely no prestige sort of feeling to it. There's no like,
yeah,
just yeah.
And I mean,
you're just buying the name.
Well,
yeah,
Marvel, just to agree and just to kind of, keep it going. Like Marvel would have been so much smarter because a lot of those covers, a lot of the lenticular covers, like if they just had the cover swipes. I mean, I wonder if it was like something where they knew some of the cover swipes just weren't that strong, and maybe they couldn't if we do a lenticular, then at least you get the old one. So it's kind of like. You just had a little nostalgia kick. But I mean, the Spirits of Vengeance one should have been just a standalone cover. If that was just a standalone cover, no lenticular, I would have bought that in a second. And that's what I was hoping it was. I mean, because that cover was beautiful. I mean, just the Spirits of Vengeance and the Giants had X-Men swipe. It looked awesome. And and I've seen other ones that look really good, but it's just like it just doesn't do it justice. It's just like. They and the thing that sucks too, like if you're one of the artists that did those swipes, I'd be pissed. Like if I was Ken Lashley, I'd be mad as shit that is sitting on the shelf and I did made a great cover that you decided to ruin by being cheap. Like I'd be so angry that you ruined my work. Like this actually was a really awesome piece, and now it's a piece of garbage. Because you guys didn't want to spend some money.
Yeah, well, and it's not worth the price versus the regular cover because, like everybody's saying, most places are marking them up $1 or $2.
Yep.
Just to try to recoup some of the cost for them having to order a ton of the regular copy just to get access to the lenticulars.
Yeah. Jackie says the Spirits of Vengeance cover was definitely the best. I agree with that. But it didn't show up. Like concept-wise, it was the best. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, like I mean, as a print, it's awesome. I mean, but it's just it does disappoint me. Like it makes me upset. Like there's nothing wrong, and I'll show it here. Like there's nothing wrong with this cover. Like this is a nice cover, but I'm telling you, like that other one was just like that made me excited for the book. That made me want to go get it, and I was like, I have to get this book based on that cover itself. And it's just like, I'm so disappointed that like. And when I go into a shop and I see it, it makes me upset. I'm like, I wanted to own that, and I refuse to because I can't see the image that I want to see.
All right. Well, did they get you on the story, Chris? Did you read Spirits of Vengeance yet?
I haven't gotten all the way through, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've enjoyed this so far. What I've read, I just haven't had time to go ahead and read it all. I've just been a little bit slow about some things.
I'll say I picked it up for like nostalgic reasons, definitely.
Yeah.
But it was better than I expected. I mean, I'm definitely going to get issue 2, and it's a miniseries, so I'll probably get the whole thing. But
yeah,
it was kind of neat, and the story they're playing with could be fun. So
yeah, I mean, they're a pretty cool group, and I think that it's off the cuff enough that they can do something, and I think they have enough freedom with them because there's nobody who's tied into anything movie-wise or television-wise that you have to worry about. We're constrained by these things. It's like no, this I think you actually can have a little bit of creative freedom.
I don't think Marvel worries about that since none of their characters look like the movie characters.
Yeah. But, I mean, but these are fun characters that you can definitely just get your creative license with and just have some fun. So for me, it's a more fun story to read. So definitely something that I just decided, you know what, going for it. Just because I know what I'm gonna get with a Deadpool book, I know what I'm gonna get with an X-Men book, but this I have no idea what I'm gonna get. It could be a disaster or it could be great.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here. I'm going to skip number 12 because it ties into our review. So we'll get to that. But we also have news that Scott Snyder is talking a little bit about what's going to be his last work on Batman for a while. He's going to be teaming up with, oh God, I forgot his name, Sean Murphy, for a book called Batman Last Night. It's going to be coming out after the Metal event is over. And Jim Lee said, kind of give a little bit of a synopsis about it. So you have Batman. He suddenly wakes up. He's like this younger guy. He's in this like post-apocalyptic wasteland, and he's like out in the sand, and he looks out, and Gotham City is like completely ruined. And then all of a sudden, you see his belt, and there's a Joker head on it. But it's alive. Like the head on the belt is alive, and it says, "You gotta move, kid." And then they kind of like that's all I told about it. But it's got like a bunch of like different takes on some of the characters. Like Wonder Woman's in it. There's a baby Superman. It looks pretty. It sounds.
So it's Elseworlds.
Yeah, it sounds pretty wild and kind of like based on what we've seen in Metal, pretty Snyderish. So, yeah.
I just kind of wish they would stop using the Knight for a minute.
Yeah,
everything.
That's like the thing right now. Yeah. You know, he's been on this character for such a long time now. Like, he's gonna want to go out with a bang. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna be his last hoorah for a while.
Yeah,
he might be running out of ideas too.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, I picked up on Snyder's trend pretty quickly that he likes to redo history, which is what he's been doing with Metal. Don't want to get into that right now, but maybe he's just running out of history to recreate. But I thought he did a good job with The Wake with Sean Murphy. I don't know if you guys remember that 12-issue run, but so I could definitely see him taking a break from Batman for a little bit because it seems like him and Murphy have a pretty good relationship and they come up with pretty good ideas and stuff for new books.
Yeah. I think he's gonna kind of go over to more of the indie side of things for a while. You know, like he's got Witches he's writing on, and maybe Image book. He may do an Image book. He is doing Witches, but I don't know how long that will last. Like this next volume of it, but I could see him, doing something over there during and or after that. So
I think that would be good for him though. Something to get him away from just doing this type of stuff for a while. So you
guys know that's where Amanda Connor and Palmiotti are going to be off of Harley Quinn after issue 34. They're taking a break, but then they're probably going to do just that. Probably go over and work on some indie stuff for a while.
Do we know if Snyder's contract with DC is going to be up after that point? Is he going to? I wonder if he's going to actually leave DC for a while.
No, they're not going to let him go, dude.
He'll be like a free agent, I think.
Yeah,
they're not going to let him go.
The question is, if they did let him go, let's say they did. I mean, would you want to see him writing on some Marvel stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if so, what character would you like to see him do?
I don't know. Well, it's got to be a character that you don't mind the origin being redone. So,
Jean Grey, Wolverine.
Moon Knight. Have him do Moon Knight.
You know what?
Cool. That's Marvel's Batman.
He's the one guy that can really do a good Moon Knight.
I got an idea. He can get rid of Dan. They can get rid of Dan Slott and put him on Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Because Dan Slott don't want to leave, so they'll be like, "Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna hire Scott Snyder and
be the darkest Spider-Man series ever."
I know, right?
Yeah.
But imagine he could do a great. Imagine he's the one guy that figures out Moon Knight.
Yeah.
What a great accolade that would be. Just be like, I figured him out. I know what to do.
He would.
But
Iron Galactus said he would like to see him do a Marvel team up of Squirrel Girl and Moon Girl.
That would be something else.
Bring back Marvel team up.
That's funny.
That'd be fun.
Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight would be a good one. I mean, his name would bring a lot of attention to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's like a Batman-y sort of character, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Or what is it, Nightwatch? How about that?
Yeah.
Darkhawk.
Darkhawk? Yeah.
Yeah, I could do Darkhawk. Yeah, New Mutants stuff.
I mean, if you're thinking dark characters, it definitely have to be Moon Knight or maybe even Venom
How about Dark
or
Claw?
Ghost Rider.
Dark Claw.
Remember Dark Claw, the Amalgam character? Amalgam, I mean.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
What's a Batman with
Sabretooth
claws?
Joker.
That would be awesome.
With
Yeah.
Sabretooth Joker mashup.
Yeah.
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 That'd be sweet. All right. Oh, Night Thrasher. There you go.
That would be pretty good.
There'd be like an ancient cult of skateboarders in New York that wear masks that Night Thrasher would have to go against.
Yeah. Night.
Actually, all jokes aside, you know who we probably could do a pretty good run on? I mean, a really good run would be Daredevil. Like, I could see him doing some really good things with Daredevil.
I thought about that, and then I was like, but I don't want his origin to be redone. So.
Yeah.
Other than that, it would be good.
But
Yeah, that would be cool. All right, so yeah, that's coming out after the whole metal event is over. So we got some time still. Are you guys familiar with My Hero Academia at all?
Nope.
It's an anime, really good actually. Funimation, they had a panel at NYCC this weekend, and they said that season 3 is coming, possibly in 2018. The speculation is April. So if you're at all interested in the previous 2 seasons for it, and they're pretty good. I recommend, if you at all like anime, and I know, especially Edwin, you've been checking some stuff out. Check this out. It's My Hero Academia. Basically, there's this guy. His name is Izuku, and he lives in this world where everybody has these superpowers. They call them quirks, but they're superpowers. Except he doesn't have any. Like he's like, there's some that don't have it. So he's like, man, I wish I did. Like this sucks. But then there's this one guy. He's like the superstar kind of like the one that everybody looks up to. His name is All Might, and he chooses Izuku to be his successor. And then when that happens, like right afterwards, suddenly he gets like these superpowers, like his whole world changes. He gets this whole set of enemies, and he's like just like thrown into this world there. So it's pretty wild. So
sounds fun.
Yeah, it's cool. 2 seasons of it, of course. This will be season 3 coming up. So that's it's good. It's one of the ones I would recommend to you. So
And that's on is it on Netflix, Hulu, or just go to Crunchyroll and check it out?
I think season 2, absolutely. Season 2 is better than season 1. But I would say start at the beginning just to get the whole flow through it. It's not on like any major channel.
You probably find it on Crunchyroll then.
Yeah. I think it's on there.
All right, I'll check it out.
I'm really trying not to like say the wrong thing here, and everyone's like, "Oh, you said the wrong thing." But
you lied to me.
I had to go there. It wasn't even there, man. What are you doing?
Yeah. How could you do this to me, man? All right, so that's cool. Let's jump into the review. Let's talk about some Batman first. Before we get to that, let me just do that item from number 12 we had. The evil Batman might be sticking around after the event's over. So they might be rolled into the whole universe instead of being sunk down into the dark world and staying there until they're conveniently needed again. They may kind of like actively be a part of the world after this. So that's interesting, and that's also kind of telling about where the story might go for here too. So but let's talk about
let me say something because I'm gonna chime out, and here's why. I haven't even started Metal yet, but I thought I could just bombard it, rush it, and get caught up. I was only able to read the Forge, the casting, and then I read Metal 1. Finished all 3 of those, so I'm going to chime out. But one thing I will say is that it's really different to see Greg Capullo's art from Metal 1, and then I flipped through Metal 3. I didn't read it, which is what you guys are about to review. His art got better. Now, I don't know if it was just a whole DC and Image thing, but his inks are a little heavier on the first one, and they started to thin out and get a little more crisp and clean, his artwork. in Metal 3. So that was like the noticeable difference to me from the first one to the third one. So, but I'm gonna chime out because I don't want to be any spoilers or anything like that because I am gonna go and finish it up. So.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. All right. Who wants to take it away?
Metal. It was so metal.
My
right?
tree's off.
Or you know, I don't know. This was a pretty rough issue. I'll say that.
Yeah, it was pretty dark. I would say.
Yeah, it was dark. I mean, for me, it was it was weird, like how they went through with it all. There was some parts like that were kind of cool, and then it just kind of seemed like it got really complicated for no good reason. I think it ended in a way kind of, and in a way it was a little bit strong, but also very dark. And then I think the part that kind of took me out of it and made me like really was when they said, you know, so that there's a point where Superman is kind of in this, I guess you call it a pub, and he's talking with all these other people kind of in this pocket dimension where they can make their plot to figure out what they're going to do next about these Dark Batmen and everything.
Right.
And they start talking about the murder machine Batman, and he infected, I think it was Detroit, with a bunch of like synthetic Alfreds. And I was like, synthetic Alfreds? What? So it's just like these like robotic Alfreds that run around killing everybody. And I'm like, but the funny thing is that they're just like, can I help you, sir? And they're like snapping people's necks. I'm like, what the hell? Okay. But yeah, like I said, it's a strange one. And like, it was very dark, but it also seems like it's like really complicated. I know that they're trying to build towards something. And so, I mean, if the payoff is good, then all this build-up makes sense, and it seems like it'd be all right. But you know, it really has to have a good payoff from what I saw from this issue. So hopefully it does, and you know, if it does, this would be an incredible story. Like I actually will regret not picking it up. You know, initially, you know, to read it as it goes, but I'm gonna end up getting it all in trade. Just so I can have the whole story completed. It's not a series that I think I want to own individual issues on.
I gotcha. I just like this issue just got me because the whole issue almost it was Superman doing what Superman does, you know, and it was like the bad guys completely used that to their advantage. They knew what would happen. They just, you know, he's so predictable. Even though he thinks he's doing what's right, it's predictable, his actions.
Yeah.
And it's
played right into their plot.
Right. And it's a setup that we weren't really expecting, you know, for that reveal at the end of it. I mean, I don't know if we want to spoil it or not, but
I wouldn't just yet. I mean,
the reveal at the end of it, or, you know, the kind of cliffhanger we're left with was not something I was expecting from Dark Knight's Metal.
Yeah.
I didn't think this would be a part of it at all, really. So,
yeah. I mean, and to like what you're saying about the predictability of what Superman does and everything, it's just like, you know, it's funny because, like, I mean, people, I think, kind of, I don't want to say that people forget, but I mean, there's still Batman, the evil Batman. It's just like, who knows Clark, aka Kal-El, aka Superman, better than, you know, Bruce Wayne, Batman, and you know, Wonder Woman. Like you know, those are the two that know him the best. So it's just like when you're gonna be fighting somebody who, you know, is that close to you and knows you that well, it's just like I think that's part of the thing that you know, makes it, I think, a little bit smarter, and like I said, it's a little bit complicated, so that it has to kind of, you know, pay off in the right way. Just because you know, it's one of those things where you have to outsmart him, and I think that's one thing that they're kind of playing up, is that you have to outsmart Batman, and that's, I mean, been seemingly an impossible task.
You have to outsmart Batman without Batman to help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That makes it way more difficult.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. And Batman with no limits either.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was kind of. It was like the other episode, oh god, I'm can't find my words right now. The other issues, it was very heavy in the exposition. There was some pretty cool action, but it was a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue, and that's something that's very, very typical for this, and that's something that Snyder likes to do. But like you said, Chris, it's really building a lot, this whole world here. So I understand the need for the exposition and, kind of letting us painting the picture above and beyond Capullo's work about what's going on. But that means, like you said, there's so much build there. There's so much anticipation. There's so much expectation. There's so much on the lines. Like entire cities have been destroyed, basically. Millions of people are dead. There's like cities are just replaced with these like creepy, weird towers. What's going to be when this plane lands? Well, what's that going to look like? You know what I mean? Like, how is that going to end? And I keep thinking, how are they going to reset this? Like, how is this going to go back to the status quo afterwards?
Barry.
Without Kobik. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Barry, go back and fix this. Tell us not to open that.
Just run really fast in reverse.
Right.
But there was some really cool scenes. Like I liked the whole thing with Gotham and I think it was Captain Cold. Like he had this part of the city and it was like all like ice and frozen. That was cool.
Was it Mr. Freeze's part of the city?
Mr. Freeze, thank you. Yeah, I said Captain Cold, but it was Mr. Freeze.
I thought it was funny that that Batman Who Laughs says, "Hey, watch out for the frost giants." So it's almost like little kind of slight jab at Thor a little bit. That there's frost giants and Mr. Freeze is part of the city.
That's right.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought that whole thing, the scene when they're inside that pub, all the scenes inside that pub were really good. I think that was done really well.
That was cool.
I mean,
when that one guy showed up.
Yep.
After the crow speaking character showed up.
Yeah.
That was. I didn't expect cool. That. Yeah.
And honestly, like I had like the guy who owned it, like the proprietor of it, and then the little monkey guy. They were cool. Like honestly, I wanted to see more of what they were up to. I think that that would be kind of a fun if you were to do kind of a what was it the Black Freighter type deal, and just have a couple of maybe like one page of just like shorts with them two, like kind of managing the bar and just talking to different people. In the back of other comics, and maybe just that would be kind of fun. I really like those two. I thought that was a really good dynamic that they had.
Yeah, that whole thing kind of reminded me of the Quiet Room, Black Bolt's bar.
Yeah,
a little bit, kind of like tucked away, place to go.
Right.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's for me. It's still too early to say one way or the other. Like high hopes, not so high, or where I stand as far as how I feel the story's going to go and what I feel like the payoff is going to be. But, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is going to be it's going to be worth the hype? Or do you think that it's kind of a, I guess, placeholder, like slightly better than maybe a placeholder, but just kind of like a stepping stone onto Doomsday Clock where maybe they're hyping that up? Because I see them hyping up Doomsday Clock a lot now. And it's almost kind of like they're already they're already moving past metal, just because this is all said and done. We know that you're gonna watch this, but this Doomsday Clock, that's the big one. And I think that some of this is gonna tie into that as well. So it's just kind of like, do you feel like it's just a stepping stone, type situation, or do you think that this is gonna have its own like really fleshed out, just really, I guess, impactful story to itself? Like I'm kind of undecided where I feel like in that, just from what I've read so far.
Yeah.
You want to take it? I don't know. I kind of feel like they're gonna keep them separate. Sure, they'll have the intertwining elements, but I feel like they'll do the best they can for them each to tell their own story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think they'll. I mean, what really gets me though is what we talked about right before this, or during it though, is that the evil Batman are still going to be lingering around or something afterwards. And to me, that hurts them as characters, because it can't be the whole Justice League that fights them all the time. It's going to be lesser characters that fight them and defeat them. So I don't know. It's kind of be like you're already giving us keys that they're not as tough as we think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that honestly, I thought initially, I mean, everybody freaked out when they saw Batman Who Laughs. Everybody was like, Batman Who Laughs, oh my god! And I knew just by looking at him, I was like, oh, he's gonna be around. He's gonna be someone that you see, from time to time popping up. Like I absolutely thought he'd be in there. But yeah, to hear that the rest of them are gonna be in there, it's just like okay, so. But when you really look at it, like it's just like is there a reason to be fearful of some of these guys? Like do they really deserve to be part of the universe? To hope that they can be some sort of relevant. I think you just stick with the main the main star of that bad guy show, which is the Man Who Laughs, and the other ones just kind of either die off, fade away, or get imprisoned somehow. Just keeping them around isn't really gonna. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like just like Justin said, keeping them around is a mistake. Just maybe just one, and then the rest of them just get rid of.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, so tell me, let's do 1 through 5, I guess. Where do you rank it? Where do you score it?
This issue, I would give this about 3.5. It wasn't completely middle of the road. It's a little better than middle of the road, but it's not like anything earth-shatteringly good just yet. Like I said, I'm still trying to get to that point where it's like, okay, this and the other two, I think really depend on the payoff. I think that what they do well is they have those big shock moments. They're like, oh shit, like this is what's happening. That's but it's not enough to really be like, oh, this is an awesome issue. Like this is great based off of just this one shocking moment. So
Right.
Yeah, I think it's something where you can't really judge it by the individual issues. You have to judge it by the story as a whole. So we got a long way to go before I can give a full final analysis on it.
Okay. So you said 3, right? 3 out of 5?
3. I said 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
I give it that half. That fraction.
All right. Extra half a star there. All right, cool. All right. How about you?
I mean, I would say, man, it was better than average. And the ending was something I wasn't expecting. So, I mean, I would say the same as Chris. It's better than average, so like 3.5. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't feel it was like utterly amazing just because of, I don't know, there were some kind of lull points where they were for several pages just trying to figure out which plan they were going to go with.
Right.
So it was, I don't know, 3.5. We'll go with
Okay, cool. Yeah, for me, like you said, cool action sequences, but there was so much, like I was saying, the dialogue and the exposition that it kind of like overwhelmed that, and it was a little bit too much of that for me. That being said, still a fun story and stuff. I'm looking forward to where it's going and all that. So I'm going to give it a 3.25.
Okay.
So
3.25 stars.
That's right. You only get one of the little arms on the star there, not the full thing. Yeah.
But you know what though? I don't mind that because I feel like we're at least very close in it. So I don't think that we're that far off. We're just like
Right. We all kind of felt the same way. We read the same thing.
Yeah.
None of us were completely off on what we saw versus the other one.
Like it's not like someone just out there hating on purpose.
We're
and it's
calibrated.
like, the greatest story ever. You guys are all crazy.
You don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, like you don't have a hater versus fanboy
Game.
mentality. It's just like this is as honest of an opinion as you're gonna get for this one. And I think when it's all said and done, that's when you really can say, all right, what do you really feel about this story?
Right. Yeah, that we can look at the whole arc. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
So,
All right, cool. So that we got that. Basically all, like you said, right around there. I think we skipped something. We skipped the Runaways trailer. Did you guys see that?
I did not.
Okay, so that dropped. It's going to be Hulu show. Looks pretty cool.
Yes,
I think
I did see it. Sorry.
you
Yes.
did. Okay, so like with the Inhumans, that was kind of like Marvel's arguably their first real misstep, right? Like it's the first thing that like the majority of people didn't like,
Right.
TV show wise.
Yeah.
And this kind of came out kind of like right after that. So I kind of went into like the expectation for this, like not really having a high. I'm like, okay, well, prove me right or prove me wrong again. Like, So, but when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is really cool. Like I like Runaways. I liked it since, the first volume and, the second, like years ago.
Mhm.
So I kind of know the characters and the story and all that. And we've been following here, like with the casting and stuff. I think up on Comic Book, we've had a couple articles, of, casting when they've come around. So we've been following it pretty closely. But because of the Inhumans, my expectations were lowered a little bit. Yeah. But when I saw it, I definitely became, excited for it again. A couple of really cool characters in there, especially Nico. I really like Nico Minoru. She's a cool character. But some of the elements that I didn't think that they would put in, like the parents sacrificing somebody, they actually did.
Yeah, that was a little nuts.
Yeah.
They go that far with it.
Exactly, right. It's Hulu, right? So I don't think that would fly. Like, say, if it was like on the CW or something, they would never do that. You know what I mean? But
CW. I mean, the only time they would have let something like that go was like back in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and they're probably just like never again. So, but it being on Hulu, you probably get away with a little bit more than you can on regular television.
Well, they do say shit in it, so that's something.
There you go.
Yeah,
always good shit. Nice. If it's put in the right spot, you can do some good things with shit. Like,
I'll take your word on that.
No, I know what I was saying. I just want to say it. It's just, as far as plot and so, like, if you look at Always Sunny, I mean, I think they overdo it now. They say shit every 2 seconds, but when you first watch the show, it's just like it was well timed, and so if they needed it for something funny, or if they needed to express disbelief, it was always good like that. So I think that Hulu and Netflix, I think, are really good platforms for those shows that Marvel likes to do that maybe don't quite fit onto network television. Mm-hmm. I think that those are the great platforms for them. So I'll have to check out this trailer and see what it's all about, just because I've never really full out read Runaways. I know of them. I just don't really fully understand the whole story. I never really read the whole thing. So, but I mean, it sounds like, and I look into the chat, it looks like everybody got like a really positive response from it. So, like you, I can go in with no expectation and just be like, okay, if it's good, great. I'm, able to check it out and be happy. But if it sucks, I'm like, whatever. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It's only on Hulu.
It looks cool, and it's a different type of story too. It's not just it's different. It doesn't feel like a rehash of the same old thing. You know what I mean? So,
but the one, the thing about it though is it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
I don't have a Hulu account. I have a Netflix account. I don't want both. I have this stupid CBS All Access account now just to watch Star
Discovery. Yeah.
Just to watch Star Trek. I don't know if I'm gonna be buying Hulu.
Well, here's what you do with that.
Huh?
What you do is you find out who your friends has one, and then you just can I borrow your email and password? You log in your password real quick. I just want to watch this one show. I'll give it back. I swear I'll give it back.
Yeah. I'll be done in a couple hours.
I'll tell you when you can reset your password.
You'd be surprised. Like
a year later, like, not yet.
Like, oh, what did you do, man? I can't log in.
I have a friend of mine who, would do that. He'd just be like, listen, Game of Thrones is coming out. And so somebody who has an HBO Go, like a friend in college, just sit there like, all right, whoever has an HBO Go account, I just need login and password for this weekend. I'm going to watch the whole thing. Just let me, I missed all last season. I got to catch up. It's just like, that honestly, I mean, as far as like, legality is concerned, I guess, no. Yeah. But even still, it's just like, if you know somebody and you can get your hands on it, or someone's nice enough to just let you, go ahead and check it out, go for it. That's what I would do.
Cool. All right. Yeah, check out the trailer, guys, if you haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, the trailer's free. Check that out.
Yeah, trailer's free. Yeah. It's on YouTube. So after this, feel free to search for that.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. So let's go around and give some final thoughts here, shout outs, what you got coming up on your channels and all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Chris.
All right. So for me on my channel, I am going to be putting up a couple of different videos. I have a comic book haul, just a couple of new books that I have kind of condensed the last couple of weeks, just because I've been kind of busy, and a couple of back issues as well, things like that. So I'll be putting up probably about 2 or 3 videos within the next week or so. And then just I have a couple of things coming in the mail that are going to be interesting to show off. So that's what I have going on my channel. As far as everything tonight, I want to just thank everybody who came in the chat, had some fun with us. Everybody who was really into the discussion and just helping us out with information when we needed it, and just being really lively about the different topics and everything. You guys are awesome. You guys come on and help keep us on our toes, and it's just really fun to be able to go ahead and have some fun and talk about comics with you guys. So thank you guys for showing up, and always a pleasure coming on talking with Jesse, Justin, Edwin, and having some fun about comics. So so happy to be back to it, just because last week was kind of just that break was kind of weird. Just like, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
What's going on? What do we do?
That's right. There's a void in my life.
It is. There's a big void. It's like, oh, it's like, I came down. I sat at my computer. I'm like, wait a minute, it's 8:30. I was like, and I was just like, and I checked my phone again. I'm like, oh, shit, not today, huh?
Oh no.
Yeah. That's how I felt. I was like, it's so weird to not talk about comics on Thursday night.
That's right.
And then Justin said, so me and Edwin didn't pay attention, but Justin's like, hey, man, if you just want to come on and talk about comics, just, do a little hangout here, just, do our thing. And then, me and Edwin both, completely missed it. Like, oh, shit, I'm sorry, man. I absolutely would have been, I was actually kind of, thinking that myself, but then I was just like, I got busy with other stuff, and I was like, I can play some games for a little bit, or, just kind of catch up on, some TV that I missed. And if only I paid attention to my phone.
I said I was waiting for somebody to give an invite, but
exactly, yeah. We just kind of.
I was already doing something else.
We dropped the ball, so it's all right though. But you know what? Don't have to worry about it because Jesse's back. So until the next time we have a break or whatever, we know where we're gonna be at on Thursday nights. So
that's right.
I know what's going on now. I'm not directionless anymore. I know exactly where I'm heading now.
Yep. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead and kick it over to Justin.
Yo. Yeah, big thanks to everybody who showed up in the chat tonight. That was a lot of fun. I was watching it. It looked like we had some first-time people, too, so that's always very cool. Let's see. What do I have coming up? Going to be doing a review of Daredevil that came out this week, 27. That was a solid story, a part 2 of a story arc, so you get a good chunk of stuff in there. It's pretty fun. The secret origin of a character is revealed. So that's awesome. And also, I'll be doing the what's in the random short box video that Alex Comic Quarter tagged me in.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll probably do that live tomorrow night. So
sweet.
And if you watch, you get to pick the box that I show and tell you with. So
awesome.
It'll be fun though. So
yeah. All right. Cool. Edwin, what's going on with you, buddy, in your upcoming life here?
Not a whole lot. Just still trying to keep up with everything and everybody, and trying to keep up with the content that I've been putting out every week. And I think I'm gonna get back into it. And got an auction Sunday, October the 22nd, Eastern. I'm there along with myself, trying to hustle and sell some books. Other than that, as far as my channel, not a whole lot going on. Just I'm not going to be able to continue with GPA this Saturday because I got to drive all the way to Dallas to look for a car. So I got to get my wife a car. But do want to get back on track with that and talk about other things other than GPA. But we'll see. And that's it. Just looking forward to really getting caught up with a lot of things. Also watching some of y'all's stuff, as well as getting caught up with reading some books because I'm so far behind. So about it.
Cool. Yeah, I got to do some haul videos and stuff like that. So that'll be what's coming up here. We'll be back next Thursday, of course. Same, like we said, same time, same Thursday. I got to do some organizing. I'm going to be, getting rid of some books. I got to make some space. So that'll be something I'm doing. And then,
we get first dibs though, right? We get first dibs, right? You're going to send us the list of things.
Yes.
Right.
And actually, okay. I do owe a couple people some packages. So I got to send some stuff out. Comically Flawed is one of them. So I got to send him something, but that's in the future. So we'll come back to that. There was something I was going to say, but I forgot what it was. And as soon as I hit the stop broadcast button, I'm going to remember what it was. So instead, I'll just say shout out to the people in the chat. Always fun to have people in there commenting questions, helping us out. I had to, utilize you a couple times because I couldn't remember like the, release dates and stuff like that. But you guys are always like, boom, right there with that. So that's awesome. A lot of good stuff there as well. And I do have your predictions. We'll be coming back to that when the movie comes out. Well, the week after, I guess. So that'll be coming up. What the hell was I going to say? I forgot what it was. It's going to drive me nuts now. Anyways, if I remember, I'll tell you guys next week. All right. This has been episode 59. Have a good night.
Have a good one, everyone.